you, Johnny. We want peace now. Peace. 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 We want peace. 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 Thank you. My name is Akil Saval. It is an honor to be here. I'm the state senator for the 1st Senate District. I want to thank all the organizations that have come here today on behalf of peace and against war. I want to thank 5051 Philadelphia, Reclaim Philadelphia, Indivisible Philadelphia, Fridays at Fetterman, CARE, Mennonite Action, Prayers for Peace Alliance, Red Letter Christians, Peace, Justice, Sustainability Now, Philadelphia Palestinian Americans, Families for Ceasefire, Jewish Voice for Peace, DSA, all the other organizations and people who have added your voices here today. We need a strong coalition and a strong anti-war movement, and I'm grateful. Nothing could be more important. We are here on the summer solstice, the longest day in the part of the world, bringing light to what might otherwise remain in the shadows. This is also one of the hottest days of the year, so please check in on yourselves, check in on your neighbors. We are here today to say no to war with Iran, no to a government ignoring the will of its people, and no to our country's dollars paying for missiles and bombs and destruction, when these resources should be providing homes and healthcare and investing in a future in which all of us can thrive. There's a great poem by Muriel Rukeyser, who's a 20th century poet, and it goes, I lived in the 1st century of world wars. Most mornings, I would be more or less insane. The newspapers would arrive with their careless stories. The news would pour out on various devices, interrupted by attempts to sell products to the unseen. That sounds sort of familiar, I think actually all of us today are living in a 2nd century of world wars. I was born in 1982. In 2001, my 2nd week of college at Columbia University, the attacks of 9/11 took place. And since then, I've experienced a continuous growing cycle of war. The invasion of Afghanistan, the invasion of Iraq, and the election of president after president who promised to end the cycle of wars only to grow them, only to expand them. Even Donald Trump promising to end the cycle of wars, and here we are. By some estimates, American post-9/11 wars have directly killed between 905,000 and 940,000 people. The majority of these are civilians, murdered simply because their lives intersected with violent conflict. Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Syria, Yemen, and elsewhere. As massive as this number here is, it's far exceeded by a figure even larger and more opaque. This is the number of people killed as a result of the far-reaching ripple effects of these conflicts, the waves of violence and hunger, the devastation of public services, and the spread of disease. In 2023, so far as this can be measured, researchers thought this was a toll of 4.5 million to 4.6 million people. A figure that has continued to mount as the effects of conflict have reverberated. Of these, 3.5 million to 3.7 million were indirect deaths caused by the deterioration of economic, environmental, and psychological and health conditions. War is what a nation does, is when it has been seized by extremism. This is because it has an immense cost. The harms and traumas of war are singular, the likes of which are unseen in any other theater of experience. War leaves scars that last for generations on the landscape and on the people. The landscape of the war in Vietnam, the war in Cambodia, people still deal with unexploded ordnance, still with Agent Orange, some 50 years later. We refuse to be complicit in the imperialistic drive of a handful of wealthy people with outsized power. We refuse to accept the exploitation of other people and other lands for corporate profits. And we refuse to allow greedy politicians to trick us into thinking that war is a tool to solve problems, rather than a payment in blood for their leaders. We are here to say no war with Iran, and we know that our views align with a vast majority of people across party lines, across demographics, across this country. Last weekend, more than 5 million people took to the streets to stand in solidarity with each other against the action of the bullies and billionaires who seek to plunder our communities and our lands for their personal profits. 100,000 of us marched in Philadelphia. We came out because we deserve to raise our families in peace and safety, because our relatives in Iran and elsewhere deserve to raise their families in peace and safety. We deserve to have a government that invests in us, and we know that we are powerful together. Our voices have been long enough to fortify our courts and to make the Trump regime think twice before violating their orders. We fought against the most disastrous cuts and policies, and just recently, after more than 3 months of unjust detention, Mahmoud Khalil has arrived back. Mahmoud Khalil is free to return to his life, to reunite with his wife, and for the first time in his life, to hold in his arms his infant son. Because when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Fight, we win. We will win again. We must call on our senators, John Fetterman, Dave McCormick, to support the War and Powers Act. We must support Senator Bernie Sanders' No War Against Iran Act.
No war!
Prohibit the use of federal funds for this evil war. This is a critical moment for all of us. We cannot allow our country to do this. We cannot allow any country to do this. This stake for our communities, our country, and our planet, for the lives of thousands of people across the world, are enormously high. Together we are stronger than a small group of billionaires. Together we can win the beautiful, thriving world that all of us deserve. No war with Iran. Solidarity.